This is Living Power with Dan Hurst.
Partial sacrifices. There are no half-burnt sacrifices. It's either all or nothing. Thirdly, a sacrifice was offered in accordance to specific instructions. If you read the 8th chapter of Leviticus sometime, don't do it right now, but sometime take a look at the 8th chapter of Leviticus and catch how detailed the instructions were for the sacrifices. There are a number of places in the Bible, I just picked that one out. But it goes into such incredible detail. Now, the instructions for the sacrifice weren't meant to be tedious. It wasn't like it was so detailed to try to really just prove that you really wanted to make a sacrifice. It wasn't designed to be tedious. It's just that each meticulous requirement had meaning and had purpose. It's interesting when you study the sacrifices why God said, do this and do it this way. It had meaning, it had purpose, it had value. There was a reason why God wanted it done that particular way. The same thing is true for us regarding living sacrifices. We have specific directives and we are to live out our lives according to the instruction of the Word of God. And it's not tedious, it has meaning and it has purpose. The fourth thing a sacrifice does is that it totally submits. It totally submits. In other words, the sacrifice yielded its own will. It didn't do its own will, it yielded its own will. It gave up its will. When the bull was placed there on the sacrifice, it gave up its will. When the lamb was placed on the altar, it gave up its will. This is so very important for us to understand. Sometimes we make a very grave error in our commitment to God by controlling our commitment. Listen to what I'm saying here. In other words, we maintain our will over God's will even though we've chosen to obey Him. We say, I choose to obey God, but we control that commitment because I'm controlling the commitment instead of giving our will up to God. We control our obedience, we control our devotion, we control our submission. And we say, this is what I'm going to do and this is all I'm going to do. Or I'm going to be this way and I'm controlling the way I behave, the way I act, the way that I respond to God. Instead of just giving up my will. Sacrificial submission gives up control. Sacrificial submission gives up control. It's exactly what Jesus did in the Garden of Gethsemane before His crucifixion when He asked the Father for an option. He said, is there any other way to do this? And then He said, nevertheless, not my will but yours be done. That's what Jesus said. He gave up His will. We sometimes use the term dying to self to describe the submission. It's a realization and a commitment that your life belongs to God completely. You no longer control your life. He does. You give up your will to God.
Looking for a Bible study that's focused on the practical application of the Bible? Check out our website at theopenclass.com.